your father wanted to rebuild the beaver dams because he wanted to keep water back there for the reasons we've discussed, to bring in more fur-bearing animals. But there was suspicion from the ranchers and farmers downstream about what effect this would have on them. Do you know anything about that? They were afraid that they wouldn't get the water.
Yes. The problem was that the long-term idea was great. But if you just stopped the stream, then the farmers lost irrigation water for the summer. And there were some people who expressed some concern about it. And I think in my father's book, he mentions a case where he and my mother are discussing it, and they came to the conclusion that Charlie Moon, who was probably one of the biggest ranchers in the area, in that area at that time, would support it because he could see farther on down the line. And yes, he got Charlie Moon to support the idea, and I don't think he would have got it otherwise.
But also he had the good idea of actually closing these dams at the time when there was plenty of water after a big winter melt, so that there was still water overflowing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But still, when it came time to irrigate the hay, there would be no water in the creek where the ranchers were, further on down the stream.
So how did they get around that then?
Well, the ranchers on MeldrumCreek benefited from a diversion out of a creek called McInCreek that had plenty of water. And during this transitional phase, my dad was instrumental in repairing an old flume that had long been out of use. And he made sure that that diversion supplied water to MeldrumCreek during this transitional period.
So this was quite a considerable undertaking in more ways than one.
Apparently, yes. It did. At the time, we never thought about it, or at least I didn't. He probably did, I guess.
Were you physically involved in rebuilding any of these beaver dams?
Oh, definitely, yes. I pushed a wheelbarrow, worked on this project of temporarily fixing the flume to get this water from McInCreek into MeldrumCreek. And yes, every dam that was built manually, I was involved in.
And what exactly did that involve?
Well, moving dirt, plugging up the creek to build a dam to conserve the water.
Was there always the remains of a beaver dam there?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And when the beaver builds a dam, does it use large pieces of wood or just small pieces?
Small pieces of wood. Anything that's in the water. They don't go out into the bush and bring in 20-foot logs or anything like you and I might do.
And how are they so efficient at doing it?
I guess it's a natural instinct. They just an autonomic reaction, an instinct, like any animal. I believe most animals react on instinct, something that's been there since way back when. I mean, they don't stop and figure out this is a good place to build a dam, or we should do it this way or some other way. They just go and do it.
And what is the benefit to the beaver of having a dam?
Well, it gives him a habitat. He definitely needs water. If there's no water, the beaver will become extinct as soon as he gets taken out by the predators. The water gives him a sanctuary to start with. It provides water to deciduous stands of trees that the beaver needs to eat. So it's to his natural interest to raise the water level. Okay, as they start running out of food that's reasonably accessible to, and they got to go farther into onto the ground to get the trees, they become vulnerable, raise the water up some more until it reaches a point of no return, and they'll either move out or perhaps die of disease.
Now, who had the idea of bringing beavers back? Was this always in your father's mind, or was this put to him by the Game Service?
To tell you the truth, I can't really answer that. I've always believed that it was his idea in this particular situation. I honestly believe that it was his idea. I can't prove it.
Do you know how he persuaded them to let you have beavers?
Just pound away at that old typewriter and talk to lots of people. Sway them to agree with his concept.
In doing that, then, he was a pioneer, wasn't he?
Yes. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt about that. It was a kind of a novel concept in this area at the time. Perhaps other people had the same idea.
Do you think that his contribution in that way has been forgotten? I mean, in pure conservation terms, not adventure.
Yes. I think the benefits are largely taken for granted now. And as you know, the beaver is a nuisance animal, and if you're trying to make a living off the land and there's a nuisance rodent out there making it difficult for you, it's very easy to drift away from my father's concept.